Namaste students, I am Pratibha, Assistant Professor of English, KLP College, Rewari. So we have discussed Murthy's character in previous videos. We have discussed 2-3 questions. Murthy's character, Gandhi is the hero of the novel, and Kantapura is a Gandhian novel, and the novel of Indian freedom struggle movement. Now, another question which is very important in this novel is language, literary or narrative style, or the Indianness or Indian sensibility of this novel Kantapura. What kind of language has Raja Rao used? This is very important. He has tried, as I've told you, that he has used the technique of defamiliarization. Now, what does that mean? He tries to cater to the Indian sensibility. He doesn't use very high flown English. He doesn't use Queen's English. He uses English in a way that it appeals to the Indian sensibility. So that is what we mean by defamiliarization. He doesn't use that native English, He wants to use English which suits the Indian mind and Indian people and their sensibility. So that is what is the highlight of this novel. Now, the first thing that we have to write here is Indian. He has used Indian way of storytelling. It's Indian grandmother. Who is a chakka? A chakka is like that grandmother who tells stories to her grandchildren at dusk time, in the evening or at night time before sleeping, at bedtime. It's the most ancient and typical of storytellers. Indian grandmother. So very common, and it's very Indian way of telling the story. So a chakka is that kind of a narrator. A chakka is just a grandmother narrating the story for the benefit of a newcomer. Now this is a breathless story, ancient way, again a very ancient way of narration. We in India, as Raja Rao says this in preface, we talk quickly, we move quickly, we think quickly. So in the same way, he has told a breathless story. He has used sentences like long sentences, there are a lot of blanks, there are digressions, there are expressions like this or that, here or there, and etc., which are very Indian in their tone and spirit. So this makes this novel a very Indian, novel with very Indian English language. Use of Indian imagery, use of proverbs and idioms. I've given you many examples during the course of our classes. He uses Indian imagery and he uses Indian proverbs and idioms, and he has translated those proverbs, local, regional proverbs and idioms into English. So he's literally translated them, but using their, using the tradition, the culture, and the spirit of India behind those proverbs. It can be easily seen. He has literally translated them into English, but they do not exist in English, those proverbs. As such, they are just regional and local proverbs which he translated in English, but they are very Indian in their spirit, in their tradition, in the culture. They're very culture specific proverbs. Now, it is not the novel in Babu English. There is no, decorative, high flown, correct, very, very sophisticated English. No. Words are English, but the organization is Indian, and the writer has done it very, very efficiently. It's very Indian in its organization. Language is saturated with Indian color. We see rural imagery, we see rural idioms. There are words, there are local words which have been used as such, they have been used in their original form like ahimsa, dhoti, harikatha, maistri, mandap. All these words are local words, Hindi words, Tamil words. He has used them just as it is. Frequently, he uses village proverbs, legends, and imagery in Indian context. We have already discussed it. Look at these examples. Every squirrel has its day. Now, there is nothing like this in English. It's an Indian expression. Youngest is the holy bull. Does a boar stand before a lion or a jackal before an elephant? These are all very Indian expressions which he has literally translated in English. Like, look at these. Policemen are not your uncle's sons. Again, these are Indian expressions which he has translated. Now, nothing like this, exists in Queen's English. We can't straighten a dog's tail. We have all heard of this proverb, कुत्ते की पूंछ कभी सीधी नहीं हो सकती है. This he has translated literally in English. Not a man or mosquito in Kanthapura. पूरे कांथापुरा में एक मच्छर भी नहीं था. So all these expressions are very Indian. Only a pariah looks at the teeth of a dead cow. So all these are Indian. Now there's peasant speech. He has used abusive and vulgar language which the peasants would, use in their own daily routine conversations. He doesn't use very sophisticated English, as I've already said. When occasions demand it, he has made use of this language to suit the purpose and occasion and the context of the novel. Like, may your wife die childless, may your house be destroyed, I'll sleep with your mother, all these things he has used. Natural speech of village folk transmuted into English. So it is a natural speech of village folk, how village people talk to each other. This is naturally, it comes naturally to them. He has just translated into English. In a language, he has also said this in his preface, it is written in a language that is not one's own, but spirit that is one's own. Now, this is the key word. It's totally written in Indian spirit. Language is not ours, but the spirit is ours. So it is Indian in both its theme and treatment. Another very important question from Kanthapura is Kanthapura as a regional novel. This also comes very often in the exam. It is asked. Now, what is a regional novel? First, we have to understand that. Regional novel deals with physical features, people, life, customs, habits, manners, traditions, language, etc. of a particular locality. Also, its uniqueness, its unique features of a place and various ways in which it differs from other localities. So, Kanthapura, of course, is that place. It is a new Sthal Puran. It is a microcosm of the macrocosm, because what happens in Kanthapura was happening all over the country. So you see, Kanthapura is that region, and is that place which is a that particular locality about which we are talking. The first point that we talked about, physical features, people, life, customs, habits. So it is Kanthapura, that place, which is at the center of the action. So we just discussed, it's a new Sthal Purana, microcosm of the macrocosm. Brave struggle of its people for the sake of Bharat Mata, country's freedom. So Raja Rao has made use of this place and tried to, again, as I've told you many times, it is a representative novel. The Kanthapura, the place, village, has a representative character. So Raja Rao has shown the brave struggle of its people for the sake of Bharat Mata, and it was happening all over the country. So now what all makes it a regional novel? One thing is the local legend, Kenchamma. So you can write the story of Kenchamma, how Kenchamma came descended from heaven to fight for its people. Then there are local rituals, yoking of the bulls to the plough under the Rohini star, month of Kartik. You have seen how elaborately the writer describes it. Modes of appeasing Kenchamma, how did they appease Kenchamma, how did they please her, what did they offer, how did they worship, what all did they sacrifice, annual fair. They talk about annual fairs, they talk about offering Kenchamma the first bodies, first rice, first fruit and all. And whenever they have to ask for something, they promise, they offer, that I will offer you a sari or all these things. So this is all very local, very typical to a local village. A village which is like Kanthapura, which has its own way of, it has its own culture, it has its own life, its own customs. So all these things are very typical to any Indian village. So this makes Kanthapura a regional novel. Now there is a concept of Harikatha. Again, local and Indian legends like Kaliya Daman, Krishna's birth, Gandhi's birth, Ram, Sita, Ravan and Bharat mythology. This is all made part of Harikathas, which also makes it a regional novel. Now, what is a myth? Myth deals with an idealized man or a man larger than life, and Raja Rao uses this device of mythicizing facts in order to give his hero that exalted status. Now, these are quotes by Meenakshi Mukherjee, who's again a very famous Indian critic and Indian critic on Indian writing in English. So this is particular to general approach. By use of myth to freedom struggle of Kanthapura, an entire country, he uses myth to highlight the freedom struggle of Kanthapura and the entire country, the writer. By mythicizing the heroic struggle of the people of the South Indian village, Raja Rao has created a new Sthal Purana, a local legend. Now, a gossipy narrator Achakka makes the commonplace, which means very common, something very irregular and usual, acquire a larger than life dimension. So this is what makes Kanthapura, all this together comes together makes Kanthapura a regional novel. So you can elaborate these points and attempt your answer on on Kanthapura being a regional novel. I hope this is helpful for you. Thank you.